Hey gamers! If you are a fan of Metroidvania games, then you've come to the right place. In this video, I will show you amazing Metroidvania masterpieces you need to experience at least once. Some of you might disagree with my list, but that's okay. All I know, this game is a good game. But before we go into the list, let's hear quick words from our sponsor. Do you know Instant Gaming is a fantastic place to buy games? It's renowned for offering exclusive discounts that you won't find anywhere else, and it's easy to access as well. You can browse and purchase games for various platforms like PC, PS5, Xbox, and even Nintendo Switch. All you have to do is enter the link in the description below, create your own ID, and start searching for your favorite games. Once you buy them, you'll get an activation code for your chosen platform. And by clicking on my link, it not only saves you money but also supports this channel. Always remember, if you want to buy games, just visit Instant Gaming. Alright then, let's get back into the list.
Super Dimensional Space.
Blaster Master 03 is a retro-style 2D action game and the final entry in the trilogy, picking up where the previous game left off. The story follows Jason Frudnick in a galactic struggle with mutants and aliens, with a focus on saving his corrupted robot girlfriend. The gameplay is split between satisfying tank combat and less enjoyable overhead dungeon exploration, with dimension hopping as a key feature. The pixel art and soundtrack are standout elements, capturing the nostalgic feel of classic 8-bit games. While the dungeon sections are tedious, the tank gameplay shines and offers a good challenge. Overall, it's a fitting conclusion to the series, especially for fans who have followed the entire trilogy. Guacamelee 2 is a vibrant Metroidvania platformer brawler that continues the story of Lucador Juan, who must regain his powers to save the universe. The game features fluid combat and challenging platforming, with new moves and trans-dimensional puzzles adding depth to the gameplay. The art style is a standout, blending Disney-like fluidity with bold, angular designs, and the soundtrack mixes arcade synths with mariachi music. However, the game can feel overly long and is bogged down by excessive meta-references that sometimes detract from the experience. The 4-player co-op mode adds to the fun, but can be chaotic for new players. Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom is a challenging action-adventure game that serves as a spiritual successor to the classic Wonder Boy/Monster World series. Players control Gene, a young boy on a quest to stop his uncle from transforming the kingdom's inhabitants into animals. The game features dynamic platforming and exploration, with Gene gaining new abilities as he transforms into different animal forms, each offering unique gameplay mechanics. Combat is varied and engaging, with each form contributing distinct abilities to defeat enemies. The game stands out for its beautiful hand-drawn art, responsive controls, and a difficulty curve that keeps players hooked.
And began to destroy their own existence.
Aeterna Noctis is a challenging Metroidvania game known for its intricate platforming and beautiful 2D visuals. Set in a world where the King of Darkness battles the Queen of Light, you explore a vast environment to regain your powers. The gameplay focuses on precise platforming and combat, with a health pip system and demanding boss fights. Combat involves facing difficult enemies and bosses, with a health pip system and checkpoints to help manage the difficulty. Haak is a high-quality Metroidvania action platformer set in a post-apocalyptic world filled with the remnants of a fallen civilization. You play as a young man searching for his missing brother, navigating through dangerous cities and monster-infested wilderness. As you progress, you solve puzzles, collect coins, and interact with various characters, all while gaining new abilities like a power glove, dash, and charged attacks. Starting with just your feet, you soon gain a power glove that lets you slash enemies and use a grappling hook, with additional skills unlocking new areas and combat tactics. Personally, I enjoyed the game very much. In fact, I couldn't stop until it was fully finished. And if you like action-filled Metroidvanias, you will definitely feel the same about Haak. Yoku's Island Express is a unique game that mixes pinball mechanics with Metroidvania exploration. You play as Yoku, a beetle who arrives on the island of Makamana to help save it from chaos. The game uses pinball elements like flippers and bumpers for movement and solving puzzles. While there's no traditional combat, you'll face challenges and bosses within pinball-themed environments. The game features beautiful hand-painted graphics and charming sound design, making it a visually appealing experience. Despite some navigation issues, the inventive gameplay and charming world make Yoku's Island Express a standout and enjoyable game. Shadow Complex is a standout Xbox Live Arcade game that offers an impressive blend of classic gameplay and modern graphics. Set in the world of Orson Scott Card's Empire, the game follows Jason Fleming as he tries to rescue his date from a radical militia. Inspired by classics like Super Metroid and Castlevania, it features a 2D plane with 3D elements, creating unique gameplay challenges. As you explore, you'll gain new tools and gadgets that open up more areas to discover. The game blends 2D gameplay with 3D visuals, creating some interesting challenges, though aiming and enemy AI can be problematic. Despite minor glitches, Shadow Complex stands out with its beautiful graphics and engaging design. Overall, it's a must-play for fans of exploration games. SteamWorld Dig 2 is a Metroidvania-style platformer that builds on the first game's mining and exploration mechanics. You play as Dorothy, a steambot searching for her missing friend, Rusty, in a post-apocalyptic steampunk world. Gameplay involves exploring underground mines, digging through dirt with a pickaxe, collecting gems, and upgrading tools. The game encourages strategic thinking as you navigate the terrain, solve puzzles, and face various enemies. While combat isn't the central focus, but there are enemies within the mines and caves that you must deal with. Momodora Moonlit Farewell is a side-scrolling Metroidvania game that combines exploration, combat, and a rich narrative. You play as Momo, a priestess warrior investigating a demon resurgence, with the story connecting to previous games in the series. Combat is satisfying, with a mix of melee and ranged attacks, and the boss fights are particularly memorable. The game is packed with features that enhance both combat and exploration. You can collect sigil cards, companions, and other items that improve your combat abilities and exploration skills. Overall, it's a fitting conclusion to the series, bringing together the best elements of previous games while introducing new mechanics and challenges. Metroid Zero Mission is a reimagining of the original Metroid, offering a classic 2D Metroidvania experience on the Game Boy Advance. The game follows Samus Aran on her first mission to planet Zebes, where she battles enemies and uncovers secrets in a vast, interconnected world. The game's combat revolves around timing and strategy, requiring players to make use of Samus' abilities to overcome foes and bosses. While the game is relatively short and easier than previous entries, it offers an extended mission after the main story that introduces new gameplay elements. This part of the game offers a fresh gameplay experience, blending stealth elements with traditional Metroid action. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is a Metroidvania game that mixes classic platforming with exploration and puzzles. It follows Sargon on a quest to rescue the Prince of Persia after a betrayal puts him in danger. The game heavily features time manipulation powers, which are crucial for navigating tricky platform sections and solving puzzles. The combat system is simple but offers depth through special abilities and the use of time manipulation. You'll need to dodge, parry, and strike at the right moments, especially during the boss fights, which demand that you learn and adapt to the enemy's attack patterns. However, it's balanced in a way that encourages players to improve, making the difficulty feel rewarding rather than frustrating. Grime is a challenging action RPG inspired by Souls-like games. It combines side-scrolling Metroidvania elements with intricate, detailed gameplay. The game's story follows a mysterious story with cryptic NPCs and a world full of secrets to uncover. Combat is tough but fair. Enemies deal significant damage, and stamina management is crucial. You have various weapons and moves to choose from, including dashing and parrying. The boss fights and platforming challenges are particularly tough, requiring persistence and skill. The combination of intricate gameplay, unique features, and a mysterious story makes it a standout entry in the Soulsvania genre. Forged in Shadow Torch is an action platformer with a Metroidvania twist. Set in a dystopian world where animals are the inhabitants, it combines exploration with intense combat. You play as a rabbit with a dark past, fighting to reclaim your city and confront personal demons. You'll navigate through a detailed 2D world, using a mix of jumping, wall climbing, and combat to explore. Combat revolves around using different gauntlet modes. The combat evolves into a satisfying experience, and the platforming elements are top-notch. While the game's combat might start off slow and challenging, it gets more engaging as you progress. Axiom Verge is a Metroidvania-style game which inspired by classic games like Super Metroid and Castlevania Symphony of the Night, but brings its own unique twists to the genre. The story follows Trace, a scientist who wakes up in a mysterious world called Sudra after an experiment goes wrong, where he uncovers the secrets of this strange, biomechanical landscape. Combat in Axiom Verge is fast-paced and varied. The game gives you a wide range of weapons, from basic energy bullets to powerful tools like the Axiom Disruptor, which can be upgraded to unleash devastating attacks. Animal Well is a beautiful and multi-layered puzzle-based Metroidvania game that draws players into a vast, secret-filled world. The game is centered around exploration and discovery, with an emphasis on solving complex puzzles rather than engaging in combat. As you move through the sprawling, interconnected map, you'll gradually unlock new items that allow you to interact with the environment in different ways. The game rewards curiosity and experimentation, as each screen is packed with hidden secrets and surprises. There's no hand-holding, and players must figure things out on their own. While there are tense encounters, like running from a giant ghost dog, your character never directly fights enemies. The focus is more on survival and evasion rather than fighting. ASTLIBRA Revision is a side-scrolling action RPG developed mostly by a solo developer, Keizo. It focuses heavily on combat, with each chapter introducing new abilities, magic, and attacks. The game also includes elements like equipment upgrades, skill trees, and item collection, encouraging players to grind for resources to enhance their characters. The combat system is praised for its depth and the way it evolves, keeping the gameplay fresh and engaging. The game is designed with a high level of difficulty, particularly on hard mode. Players are required to grind for materials and experience to fully unlock the game's combat and skill systems. Castlevania Aria of Sorrow is a classic Metroidvania platformer that combines exploration, puzzle solving, and combat in a gothic setting. The game shifts the focus from previous Castlevania titles by setting the story in the future. In 1999, Dracula's castle was banished during a solar eclipse. 30 years later, another eclipse brings the castle back, and Soma Cruz, the protagonist, is transported inside. Instead of the traditional whip, Soma uses a variety of weapons, including swords, hammers, and even a pistol. Each weapon has its advantages and disadvantages, and players must choose the right tool for different enemies and bosses. The Soul Collection system further enriches combat, allowing players to use abilities from defeated monsters. Touhou Luna Nights is a Metroidvania platformer. It combines exploration and action with a rich pixel art style and an engaging soundtrack. In the game, you play as Sakuya Izaewai, the headmate of a vampire. Sakuya's mission is to uncover what's happening and restore order to the Luna Nights. Combat in Touhou Luna Nights is dynamic and engaging. You use blades and other projectiles to fight enemies. Boss fights are a highlight, each featuring unique moves and requiring strategic use of your power-ups. The game stands out for its excellent level design, which keeps exploration exciting. The time-freezing mechanic is a unique twist that adds depth to both combat and platforming. Nine Souls is a Metroidvania action platformer with a distinct blend of Eastern tradition and cyberpunk aesthetics. It draws comparisons to games like Sekiro due to its challenging combat and intricate world. The game centers on E, a character seeking revenge against the Nine Souls who betrayed and nearly killed him. Inspired by Sekiro, Nine Souls offers refined and dynamic combat. Players must master precise inputs and strategic deflections to overcome challenging enemies and bosses. The combat system is built around patience and skill, with a unique health system that adds depth to the gameplay. Ribi is a unique blend of a Metroidvania and bullet hell game. It combines exploration, platforming, and intense boss battles filled with waves of projectiles. The game also incorporates light RPG elements, making it a well-rounded experience for fans of these genres. The story follows Arena, a bunny who gets transformed into a girl. Her goal is to find her human master while navigating through various environments. You can engage in close-range combat with a hammer or use ranged attacks after meeting the fairy ribbon. The boss battles are where the bullet hell elements shine, requiring precise dodging and strategic attacking to survive. Death's Gambit Afterlife is a Metroidvania with a heavy influence from Dark Souls, blending action platforming with RPG elements. You play as Soren, a protagonist who dies but makes a deal with death to carry out his bidding. The story unfolds as Soren embarks on a journey filled with dark fantasy themes, interacting with mysterious NPCs and unraveling his backstory through flashbacks. Combat is deliberate and strategic, leaning more towards blocking and parrying rather than fast-paced dodging. It's easier than typical Souls-like games, but still challenging enough to keep players engaged. The game stands out because of its strategic combat, a protagonist who actively participates in the story, and a more forgiving gameplay loop compared to other Souls-like games.
I won't be able to stop enemies.
Super Metroid is a side-scrolling action-adventure game that is part of the Metroid series. The story picks up right after Metroid 2. Samus Aran, the main character, takes a Metroid hatchling to a science lab, but soon after leaving, space pirates attack the lab, and the hatchling is stolen by Ridley, one of Samus' recurring foes. The gameplay of Super Metroid revolves around exploration, puzzle solving, and combat. Players navigate through various areas of Zebes, finding items and upgrades that allow access to new areas. The emotional storyline, particularly the connection between Samus and the Metroid hatchling, adds depth to the experience. The game also stands out for its atmosphere, with detailed environments and a haunting soundtrack that enhance the immersion. Salt and Sanctuary is a 2D action-adventure game with heavy influences from the Dark Souls series. It's a combat-focused experience that combines elements of Metroidvania exploration with the punishing difficulty and deep lore of Souls-like games. Yes, combat in Salt and Sanctuary is intense and strategic, requiring players to balance offense with defense. Blocking, rolling, and memorizing enemy attack patterns are key to survival. Boss battles are particularly challenging, each offering unique challenges that test your skills. The game's lore is intriguing and encourages players to delve deeper into its mysteries. Blasphemous Sequel is a 2D action platformer with a strong Metroidvania influence. It's a sequel that takes the core elements of the original Blasphemous and enhances them, offering players a dark and challenging world filled with religious imagery and intricate level design. It retains the brutal difficulty and gothic atmosphere that fans of the series appreciate. In Blasphemous 2, the game introducing new mechanics and refinements. Combat is a standout feature in Blasphemous 2, offering players a choice of 3 distinct weapons from the start. Each weapon offers a different playstyle, and players can switch between them as they progress through the game. Ender Lilies is an emotional side-scroller RPG with a well-told, compelling story, beautiful music and art, and solid gameplay. Its hauntingly beautiful style and satisfying world more than makes up for some slight combat blemishes, leaving a lasting impression as one of the most remarkable games of its kind. In this game, Lily doesn't fight directly. Instead, she relies on spirits she purifies to battle for her. The Umbral Knight is your main attacker, using a simple 3-hit combo. As you purify more spirits, you can summon them to assist in combat, each offering different abilities. Combat can get a bit cluttered when multiple spirits are on screen, but it's functional and supports the overall gameplay. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is a Metroidvania game focused on exploration, platforming, and action. It's heavily inspired by classic games like Castlevania, with a gothic and medieval setting. It explores themes of human nature, redemption, and self-discovery, all while the protagonist battles monsters and demons in a dark, mysterious world. Combat in Bloodstained is fluid and requires strategic thinking. You'll need to be smart about how you engage enemies, using a variety of weapons and abilities. The controls are responsive, and the game is best enjoyed with a controller, which makes navigating combat encounters smooth and precise. It's not a simple hack-and-slash game. Instead, it demands players to be smart and engaged, especially during combat encounters. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a stunning 2D platformer that masterfully blends exploration, combat, and intricate puzzle solving. The game follows Ori on a heartfelt quest to save a lost, adoptive owl brother in a beautifully hand-painted world tainted by darkness. As you progress, Ori gains new abilities that make navigating the world a thrilling and fluid experience, though the challenging platforming and boss battles will test even seasoned players. The visuals are nothing short of breathtaking, especially on an HDR display, where Ori's glowing form contrasts strikingly with the somber backgrounds. Despite its relatively short playtime, the game's captivating environments and smooth gameplay leave a lasting impact, making you wish for more. Metroid Dread is a thrilling action-adventure game that masterfully blends classic Metroid elements with exciting new mechanics like stealth. Players follow Samus Aran on a gripping journey through the dangerous planet ZDR, where exploration and combat are key. The game's fast-paced gameplay and challenging boss battles keep players engaged, while its stunning visuals are enhanced on the OLED Switch. Stealth mechanics, particularly in encounters with the EMMI robots, add tension and excitement. The game is well-balanced, offering a fair but tough challenge that encourages players to keep improving. Hollow Knight is a captivating 2D action-adventure game set in the hauntingly beautiful world of Hollow Nest. Players explore a vast, interconnected kingdom, uncovering its tragic history through exploration and discovery. The game's combat is simple yet strategic, requiring careful timing and the smart use of spells and charms. With its challenging difficulty and intricate platforming, Hollow Knight pushes players to master its mechanics. The game's unique design and atmospheric soundtrack enhance the experience, making each new area and boss encounter memorable. Hollow Knight stands out for its rich content, rewarding exploration, and the deep sense of achievement it offers. Castlevania Symphony of the Night is a beautifully crafted action RPG that has stood the test of time, even with some issues in the Requiem port. The game's fast-paced combat, exploration-driven gameplay, and unique mechanics like transforming into different forms make it an engaging experience. The story follows Alucard's journey to confront his father, Dracula, with the help of Maria Renard. The game's progression system is rewarding, making players feel a genuine sense of growth and power as they uncover the castle's secrets. The music and voice acting are also top-notch, adding to the overall atmosphere. In short, Symphony of the Night is a classic worth playing as a Metroidvania of all time. And that's it for today. What do you think about this list? I know there are amazing Metroidvania games out there that I haven't mentioned yet. Please share your favorite amazing Metroidvania games that you think deserve a spot here. Don't forget to like this video, and make sure you subscribe to this channel if you don't want to miss another great list. And as always, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.